Some people live seeking the approval of others, trying to fit into norms that seem universal. But what if I told you there's a group that challenges all of that? Sigma males follow a set of rules so unusual that they leave those around them confused, intrigued, or even uncomfortable. These rules, however, are the foundation of their authenticity, strength, and independence. In this video, you'll discover the 7 strange rules they follow and how it makes them so different. Get ready to understand how these unconventional attitudes are, in fact, a powerful way to live free from social constraints. If you've ever felt out of place, you might relate to some of these rules. Or all of them. They forgive, but use forgiveness as a strategy. For Sigma males, forgiveness isn't an altruistic act, but a strategic tool. While many see forgiveness as a way to move on, Sigmas believe it's a method to release emotional energy without forgetting who hurt them. This approach may seem cold or calculated, but for them, it's merely a matter of emotional survival. Imagine a friend who betrayed them at a crucial moment. A Sigma might continue the friendship, but would never place the same level of trust in that person again. This behavior puzzles many, as most people believe forgiveness means rebuilding the relationship as it was before. For Sigmas, that would be naive. Moreover, this stance can make them seem distant or even resentful, which isn't the case. To them, remembering who harmed them isn't about revenge. It's about ensuring they don't make the same mistake twice. It's like keeping a mental list of who is trustworthy and who isn't. This calculated way of handling forgiveness is what protects them in a world where not everyone plays fair. Have you ever wondered how your life might change if you adopted this more strategic mindset? They keep their emotions locked away to avoid commitment. Sigma males have such a strong grip on their emotions that many consider them insensitive. However, this emotional restraint is a way to avoid situations that drain their energy or make them vulnerable. They believe emotions, when shared at the wrong time, can be used against them. For example, during an argument, while someone else might explode in anger, the Sigma remains silent or responds calmly, analyzing every detail. To those used to more open emotional displays, this seems like a calculated or even indifferent attitude. But for the Sigma, it's simply self-control. This behavior also reflects how they deal with pain or loss. Instead of opening up to several people, they prefer to process their emotions alone in an environment where they feel secure. This choice helps them avoid unnecessary exposure and keeps their emotional autonomy intact. If you could control your emotions this way, how would it change your interactions? Think about this as we move on to the next peculiarity of these enigmatic Sigma males. They distrust people who are too good right away. Have you ever met someone who seemed perfect at first but turned out to be the opposite? Sigma males are always on guard against this kind of behavior and avoid being swayed by sweet words or exaggerated friendliness. To them, genuine connections take time to build. This skepticism can make them seem distrustful, especially when someone tries to impress them quickly. Imagine meeting a Sigma and showering them with compliments. They'll probably distance themselves, not out of dislike, but because they believe true intentions reveal themselves through actions, not initial speeches. Additionally, this approach helps them avoid many common relationship pitfalls. Instead of diving headfirst into new friendships or partnerships, they observe and evaluate. This protects them from manipulative people or those who only seek superficial approval. Maybe you've also been deceived by someone who seemed too good to be true. Why not start adopting this caution in your own life? This is just one of the many mysteries of Sigma behavior we'll explore further. They refuse to fit into any social standard. Sigma males have a clear principle. If something doesn't make sense to them, they won't follow it, no matter how widely accepted it is as a social norm. They don't bow to group pressures or traditions just because everyone does it. To many, this comes across as rebelliousness or even arrogance, but for Sigmas, it's simply about authenticity. For instance, while others might attend social events or follow trends to feel accepted, the Sigma evaluates whether it truly holds value for them. If it doesn't, they simply say no and stick to their priorities. This attitude baffles those who can't understand how someone can be so indifferent to external expectations. This refusal to conform is visible in various areas of life: style, career, relationships. They choose what helps them grow or feel fulfilled, completely ignoring outside judgments. A Sigma might reject a secure and well-paying job to invest in a project that aligns with their values, even if others think it's crazy. And you? Are you following what truly matters to you, or just adjusting to social expectations? Maybe it's time to reassess your choices and adopt some of that Sigma spirit. They judge you by what you do, not what you say. For Sigma males, words are just noise if they're not backed by consistent actions. They have an almost instinctive ability to evaluate people by observing how they behave in different situations. This can make those around them uncomfortable, as their assessments are often silent but very accurate. Imagine someone promising to stand by your side during tough times, but never following through. A Sigma doesn't give second chances to this kind of behavior. They prefer to observe patterns of behavior rather than believe empty declarations. This approach helps them avoid disappointments, but can also make them seem critical or suspicious. This ability isn't limited to personal relationships. In professional settings, for instance, they can quickly identify who genuinely contributes to a project and who is just pretending. This makes them valuable allies, but also hard to deceive. Have you ever evaluated whether you're surrounded by people whose actions truly match their words? Perhaps it's time to sharpen your critical thinking and follow the example of Sigma males. They completely disconnect from superficial people. One of the most confusing and even shocking attitudes of Sigma males is their ability to cut ties with superficial people without looking back. They simply have no patience for relationships based on appearances, temporary interests, or manipulation. For those who value constant interaction, this coldness can seem extreme or even cruel. For example, a Sigma might be friendly in a group, but if they sense that the connections there are only superficial, they'll quietly withdraw. There's no drama, no explanations, just a silent retreat to preserve their energy. This often leaves others wondering, what happened? This aversion to superficiality also makes them value authentic relationships above all else. A deep, honest conversation with a sincere person is worth more to a Sigma than years of shallow interactions with dozens of people. This makes them selective, but also creates a solid and genuine circle of trust. Could you cut ties with people who bring nothing positive to your life? Maybe this Sigma rule is what you need to feel lighter and more focused. They live to protect their private world at all costs. Personal space is so important to Sigma males that they treat it as sacred territory. This need for privacy can be seen as isolation or antisocial behavior by those who don't understand their logic. But for Sigmas, protecting their autonomy is essential to maintaining their sanity and emotional balance. A clear example is when they consistently decline invitations to social events or casual meetups, not because they dislike people, but because they value the time they can spend alone. They use this space to reflect, create, or simply recharge their energy, something few people understand. This attitude often confuses those with a more traditional view of sociability. Many believe isolation is negative, but for Sigmas, it's the opposite, a moment of strengthening. When they choose to share their presence, it's because they genuinely want to be there, not out of obligation. Have you ever felt you need more time for yourself but hesitated to ask for it? Perhaps it's time to follow this Sigma rule and learn to protect your inner world more assertively. The rules of Sigma males may seem strange at first, but they carry a powerful logic. These attitudes, though uncommon, ensure authenticity, freedom, and inner peace. After all, what's more valuable than living aligned with your own values, without losing yourself in the expectations of others? So, which of these rules do you feel is missing most in your life? Are you ready to apply one of them and challenge the way the world expects you to live? If so, subscribe to Official Sigma Mail, turn on notifications, and keep discovering how these concepts can transform your personal journey. After all, you deserve a more authentic and empowered life.